Rebecca, thank you again for joining us. As you know, we've been talking about how our brain is struggling with pattern disruption, the loss of traditions here as we're looking at the 2020 holiday season. And I know in your clinical practice, you integrate a lot of self-compassion work. And so I just thought it'd be great to connect and pick your brain on how do we support ourselves in cultivating self-compassion when our amygdala might be having a hard time, which often makes it feel like we're having a really hard time.
Hmm. Yeah. Self-compassion, the easiest way to think about it is treating yourself the way you would treat a dear friend, a loved pet, a partner, someone that you care about a lot. And with self-compassion, it ironically can be a powerful antidote to anxiety
Hmm.
because
Yeah, say more about that.
when we step into the place of caring, that often motivates action.
Mhm.
Dramatically will shift us out of that hyper aroused, that fear brain cycle. So self-compassion can be a really powerful tool and almost a little hack in helping us manage not only anxiousness, but a lot of the difficult feelings that are naturally going to be arising during this holiday season, but also as this year is coming to a close, as we're transitioning into a new year in a very different world.
I know in the last video, I was exploring how when we're in fear or anxiety, we want an action plan. And what I'm
Mhm.
hearing you say is self-compassion in of itself is an action plan.
Yes, that's a really good way of putting it. Yeah. And there's a couple little things that you can do to help put that into practice.
Ooh, do tell.
So when you notice that you're struggling, you're having a hard time, when you're feeling a disappointment, some overwhelm might be showing up, what I recommend is bring to mind someone that you care about a lot. So this could be your best friend. This could be your pet. I know I have a very strong relationship with my puppy, my dog. So I often bring him to mind when I'm doing my own self-compassion practice. And write a note
Hmm.
to that entity, whether that's a pet or your friend, a partner, imagining that they were going through the exact same thing you're going through right now. Write a note about what you would tell them. Oh, I'm so sorry this is happening for you. That sucks. I'm here for you. We'll get through this together. And then take that note, which ironically was actually written to yourself, and read it to yourself aloud. It's that moment of taking this automatic ability to be caring and compassionate to others, and then learning how to turn that back around towards the self.
Yeah. And I imagine even in that note, adding in some permission. When you say that sucks, giving permission, like, yeah, it's okay to feel this way. That makes sense. It's reasonable. It's okay if perhaps you've coped in a way you wouldn't prefer. As you know, in December, we did an entire series looking at, or we've been doing an entire series looking at different coping skills and integrating self-compassion in that way.
Yeah.
And saying it's okay to survive the way you're surviving right now and integrating that inward.
Mhm. I also love that with self compassion, by giving permission for, just like you were saying, it's okay to be coping the way you are right now, permission often reduces shame.
Mhm.
And when we reduce shame, that opens up the possibility for something different, a different choice,
Yeah.
a different possibility.
A new possibility, an opportunity.
Exactly.
Some of our favorite words.
Mhm.
So I love that exercise, just finding somebody or something that you deeply love, writing a letter as you're imagining that they're struggling, navigating, experiencing whatever's happening in your internal world. And then reading that letter out loud to self and taking in that same information, that loving reflection of it's okay.
Mhm.
Validation of, yeah, and this sucks. This is hard. And that's okay too.
You know, I've noticed in my own self-compassion practice that it can be a lot easier to send that compassion outward
Mhm.
is to bring it back.
Yeah.
So another little hack, if any of our listeners are noticing that's a struggle, a great idea, add what if
Mm,
or each of those sentences that you wrote to someone else.
love it.
What if it's okay to feel crappy right now? What if this really does suck? What
Yes.
if I'm doing the best I can?
Yeah. Perfect. And I noticed you went to the evening touch there. So bringing in that neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is always about building resilience, and resilience is also about leaning into the hard moments. And self-compassion encompasses that and saying it's okay to have hard moments. It's okay to feel all the feels. So thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us. I think this, especially looking at the unique experiences of this holiday season, being in relationship with the fact that our brain might be having a hard time, and integrating the idea of how would we love somebody else through this, and then inviting that to be internalized and loving ourselves through it.
Mhm.
It's so important.
What if I can be gentle with myself?
What if? Thank you, Rebecca. As always, so appreciate your wisdom. We'll see you soon. Happy holidays.